And we have breaking news. NBC News has confirmed with one intelligence source that the suspected hostage taker is a man who goes by the name of Sheikh Haroon. Various Australian media outlets report that he is known to local police for his, quote, extreme views, and that he has been known to issue threats to families of dead soldiers in the past. They bring in Steve Clemons, Washington editor-at-large for The Atlantic. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Jose.
So no direct tie with any terrorist group, but that is certainly something officials must be looking at right now.
Well, I think that's the assumption that we have, and as Clint Van Sant, who seemed to know something about what was coming by way of this news, the police and legal authorities there have a long file on this gentleman. I don't know if it's true, but the BBC has actually said that he is an Iranian who sought and received asylum in Australia, which adds another dimple to this interesting story because you see, particularly when you look at the piece that just ran in The Age by Nick Ralston, the kinds of legal difficulties this man has been in, what an accepting place Australia has been. So this is painful on a lot of fronts, but particularly with someone where they opened up their home to this man from abroad, and he's taken this kind of action.
And the president, meanwhile, and his national security team are closely watching this breaking situation. Is there a concern that this could be some kind of, well, ISIS-inspired situation that is not just lone wolf?
Well, I mean, I think there's concern that lone wolves make a difference and that we don't know a lot, and I should sort of underscore that there's so much we don't know here. But what we do know is that someone there has held up the Shahada flag, feels like he's taking action on something having to do with what is happening in the Middle East. And of course, when we saw the terror incident in Canada, in Ottawa, Canada, in October, and we've seen incidents elsewhere in the world with people self-initiating these kinds of actions. It's worrisome because the world is watching, because we all worry about our coffee shops on the corner and whether someone that we don't suspect, whether they're truly affiliated with ISIS or al-Nusra, or they are self-initiating to want to, they may be mentally ill or mentally off balance and want to do something to basically take attention and do some damage. That's the worry here, is that there is a trigger out there with people who may not be formally involved but may decide this is something that they need to do for their own identity, and that's the speculation, at least among some, with what's unfolding in Sydney.
And then the use of social media, it's so easy to get information out, to get information in, and to share all kinds of ideas. And in this case, apparently, he's even asking, he's using social media to get his requests out.
That's right. He's getting his requests out, and we all really should step back and wait until we know more about this gentleman. I think that Clint Van Sant was just fantastic in the way he depicted, what the equities were that the police had, how the various factors play in over time in changing the circumstances and hopefully taking this in a good direction where those hostages are safe and sound and out of this crisis. But that said, the implications of why the world is watching right now is that we all have substantial worry that when ISIS says to Australia, we're going to punish you for sending troops and being involved in the coalition against ISIS, that raises triggers that within our societies we have people who will take up arms against our own citizens. And I'm using our in the big sense that nations across that coalition.
Yeah. Steve Clemons, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jose.
Coming up as we take the turn here on the rundown, much more on this breaking news we're following, and we've been following it all morning long, the hostage situation in Sydney, Australia. We'll have new details on the hostage taker and the negotiations going on to free the hostages. That breaking news straight ahead.